ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the School of Science. My name is Luke, and this is the post-match reaction for Everton versus Brentford. Everton 1, Brentford 0. Now, I will be honest, going into that game, I was not expecting us to get the result that we did. Brentford, they were pretty much on a 12-win, well, not a 12-win streak, sorry, 12-game unbeaten run. And this had the likes of Man U, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. They had quite a few good teams in there that they were able to draw against or win. And apparently we were the ones who were the ones to undo them. Now, just as a very quick one, I have got my notes here, so I am going to be just rattling off little bits here and there. So you may see me look down briefly, just have a little look at something what I've seen. So apologies on that front. I'm still working on trying to actually get this in a more fluid sort of manner. I should really just have notes in front of me here that I can just sort of glance and then come back to. But hey ho, I've got to work with what I've got, you know. So yeah. So first part of the game, pretty much within 35 seconds, I believe it is, Everton scored. So it was pretty much a ball hit downfield and brought on, picked up by Decore. Decore brought it along the wing to Dwight McNeil, who was able to just move it slightly so we could get it out of the way of the Brentford defender. Got a nice little clean hit on it, got it through the legs of the defender and into the back of the net. Great goal, nice and quick. No issues on that front. Bearing in mind, that is the fastest goal in Everton's history that has led to a win, if I'm not mistaken. I think the fastest goal I remember is Louis Saha's one in the FA Cup final, and that was 25 seconds. So 10 seconds later, then Dwight McNeil's got his one. So as the game progressed, we had a lot of things to work with. So we were able to take, now bear in mind, this wasn't a bad Brentford team. This was a good Brentford team. They were playing well. Ivan Toney was doing what he could to try and annoy us. They had a lot of players there that were really trying to cause issues, and we were just able to soak it up well. So the defense, they were solid. My one probable critique would have been Amadou Onana. Now, unfortunately, from looks of things, he seems to be carrying, looks like he's carrying an injury in all fairness, and he doesn't want to sort of step down from the squad until, you know, he's actually properly injured. So in my situation, I would probably be looking at trying to step down and bring someone like James Garner in. Just give him a couple of games on the bench and just say to him, look, I would rather you just try and, you know, relax yourself a little bit, not be running around as much so we can actually rebuild you, get you back in, and have you and James Garner sort of swapping and changing when needs be. Because the last thing we need is Amadou Onana to pick up an injury, say being a calf strain, hamstring injury or something like that. He tries to play through it, makes it so much worse, and we have another Calvert-Lewin on our hands. That's the last thing I want to be seeing, you know. And speaking of players, the defence was absolutely solid that game. Throughout the first half and the second half, the defence played an absolutely critical role in us playing to a victory. So Michael Keane looks like an absolutely new player, in my personal opinion. He was unfortunate not to score. He did have a nice little clean header on goal, and he knocked it wide, which is a shame. Onana as well, he did have a shot on goal, and unfortunately he went down as he was hitting it, so he ends up launching it high, wide and handsome. So it wasn't just a simple situation of we scored and we just sort of camped back and put 11 men behind the ball. We did score and we carried on at it. We kept peppering at them. We kept trying to break the defence down, kept trying to have shots at them. And in the end, to be honest, we should have been going in on the break around 2 or 3-0 up. We did get a goal late on in the first half, around the 40th to 44th minute, where it was a ball that come through. A defender had hit it, and it went into Demarai Gray, into the net. Now, a lot of the main controversy around that one was the fact that it came off this part of Demarai Gray here. So it wasn't, I'm going to step to the side here. Oh. So this part of Demarai Gray. So this, in all honesty, can be put under any form of controversy to say, oh yeah, it was handball, yeah it wasn't, no it wasn't, yes it was, sort of thing. In all fairness, if it's hitting you here, that's a goal. That's a perfectly legit goal. And you see the way he's actually standing. He's doing this, and the ball comes to him, and he does this. So he broadens himself out in a flinching reaction. So he flinches back, and it comes off here, and it goes into the net. VAR apparently said that's a handball. My personal opinion, not a handball. And I'm willing to fight that one. But yeah, going into the end of the first half, absolutely solid from Everton. We were able to really give Brentford a run for their money. We had them at the ropes at times. We were peppering at their goal. They weren't getting too much of an opportunity in the first half. So going into the second half, unfortunately, well, Brentford came out like a completely different team. And this is where the issue with Everton is going to start, becoming quite visible. So we have got a situation at the moment where our player selection is a little bit limited at the moment. So we have got decent players on the bench, but they aren't the players that you would want to throw in that 11 at the moment. And this can be seen quite obviously by Sean Dyche. He wants to use the 11 players he's got on the field from start to finish and only resort to his bench when absolutely necessary. So swapping out, I believe it was Tamari Gray out for Neil Maupay. He swapped out Amadou Onana after he basically got injured. He had a head injury, and if anyone's actually seen the Instagram or Facebook posts, his right eye is completely swelled up. So he's had a good clash of heads there, and it's given him quite a bit of an eye injury there. So hopefully that isn't going to rule him out. But if it does, I'll be honest, it's a well-deserved break for him. He needs to have a break at this point in time because he has played pretty much every single game. Well, should I say, started almost every single game since the Liverpool game back in September. So that's definitely one to take into account. So we do need to start giving these players a little bit of a break here and there, especially with him, because he is a very pivotal sort of player in the squad. And I don't want to see him getting badly injured and ending up missing out. So yeah. With the second half, for the first, probably say 15 to 20 minutes, Everton seemed to be asleep. Brentford pretty much went straight on the offensive and they just absolutely hammered at us from the word go. They pretty much spent a good half of the second half in our half and close to our final thirds. They absolutely bombarded us left, right and centre, and I'm just made up that the defence was able to hold up. Seamus Coleman, for a guy who is in the very twilight of his career, he played absolutely phenomenally, played out of his skin, and I cannot fault him one bit. He played all up and down that right-hand side of the pitch and gave Ivan Toney no space at all to work. Anytime Ivan Toney had the ball, he was straight onto it. He was doing everything he could to dispossess him, and he made necessary fouls to try and, mess with the momentum of the game, and I cannot fault him. I would have, if it wasn't for Dwight McNeil playing so well as well, I would have happily have given him the man of the match. In regards to Tarkowski and Keane, the two of them are acting like a great little partnership in the back line there. So I'm going to make a shot in the dark and say this is the Burnley style of defence that we're working with at the moment. It's a very physical, rough and tall defensive line. It's very hard to break down, to tell you the God's honest truth. The only way you're going to break it down is through mistakes. And to tell you the truth, Michael Keane, as of late, he's had very little in terms of mistakes in his being. Because normally what would happen with Michael Keane is a mistake would be pretty much guaranteed once or twice a game. But as a whole, for the past couple of games, I would say he has been probably one of our most solid defenders so far this season, alongside the likes of Tarkowski and Mina whenever he plays, which is something I like to bring up. Why aren't we playing with Yerry Mina? I would like to see a little bit more Yerry Mina, even if it means we're making it going from, say, having a 4-man backline to a 5-man backline. We're doing that. I would be happy to see. Sorry, I just need to take a drink. My throat is dry. In regards to Yerry Mina, he's probably one of our best players at the moment. The fact that we're not playing him is pretty much criminal. And this might be just down to the fact that we might need him for a very critical game. And because he's basically made of glass, if we play him, we run the risk of him being injured and being out for the remainder of the season. We cannot afford that. If we're going up, let's say, against Man City at home, we go up against Chelsea away, we go up against Man U away. What else have we got? We've got Tottenham at home. We've got a lot of big games there that we need to be utilising some of our best players for. And I'm assuming this is going to be our ace in the hole that we're going to try and use once or twice for the remainder of the season, being Yerry Mina. So what will probably happen is, let's say for argument's sake, we're doing well, 1 or 2-0 up, and we want to hold on to that lead. What we would do is we'd sacrifice, say, Abdoulaye Doucouré or Amadou Onana and put Yerry Mina on, have him play alongside the back. So it goes from being a back 4 to a back 5. So we bolster up that defense just a little bit more and then just try and, suffocate them out the game. But yeah, one thing to note as well, Ben Godfrey, with him being back now, being his first home game since the start since the Chelsea game. So the very first game of the season. All I can say is he played well. He did play well. As in a defensive mindset, he's extremely quick and he's able to cover that entire left side of the field. And one thing I did note as well, him and Tarkowski, they were swapping between being left back and centre back. So what I noticed is when Brentford were on the advance, if Godfrey didn't feel like he was able to actually, cover that ground, Tarkowski moved into the left and Godfrey covered his ground by going into the centre. So the two of them were pretty much in sync with each other. So they were able to communicate well and they were moving inside to there. So that was great to see as well. And Mikalenko coming on near the end there. So he ends up having a back 5 against Brentford. That was good to see. And I'll be honest, the last, say, 10 to 15 minutes of that game were very, very nerve-wracking to say the least, because for them 10 to 15 minutes, we did have Brentford pretty much right at our throats and peppering at the goal. Jordan Pickford's obviously putting his body on the line, getting himself hit round the goonards. So, got to give it to Jordan Pickford, giving us a nice little clean sheet there to Goodison again. Hopefully, next game against Chelsea, that's going to be an interesting one. So, I'm thinking with that one, hopefully, if we can go for the draw, that would be great to take into consideration. We need, because as we know, our form on the road, it's like a couple of other teams, it's not great. Our form at home is great, but on the roads, we're not that well at the moment. Hopefully, if we can get a draw from Stamford Bridge, I would be happy with that result. But we're going to talk about that in the pre-match, which is going to be coming up later on this week. But in any case, guys, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who is supporting the channel in their own way, shape, or form, whether it just be watching the videos, putting their feedback in, or even giving me super thanks or any form of donation, shape, or form. That is greatly appreciated. I am so grateful for that sort of stuff because you are helping this channel improve in its own way, shape, or form. Whether it be better equipment, just other stuff, it's greatly appreciated. But in any case, guys, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit, I'm currently recovering from COVID at the moment, so I am a little bit hazy right now in terms of being able to actually just try and talk coherently. But in any case, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'm going to see you all next video. Peace.